Okay, boys, spin the wheel.
And we get to play again.
And we're going to...
Denmark.
Denmark!
A little close to home. I wonder what we come up with.
Right, everyone, thank you very much for all of your Denmark suggestions. Boys, the dishes that we would like you to cook today are frikadelle with brunet, kartoffler and æbelskewer. Thank you to everyone who commented and suggested these dishes. I think we're going to have some fun today. Instant reactions. Have you heard of any of those dishes?
Yes, no, and half. So frikadelle, definitely had in Copenhagen.
Right.
And the third thing is something with apple, so it must be the dessert. We're doing dishes. So I reckon it's meatballs and potatoes, because they're there.
Yeah.
And something with apple.
So we're going to kick off with the brunet kartoffler, and your first hint is think tarte tatin for potatoes. So we've given the boys all of the ingredients that they need. And for the first dish, there are two options of a direction to go.
We have like waxy new potatoes,
Yeah.
and we have a tin of peeled new potatoes. So instantly there are two options. One is pre-done for us, one we do from scratch. So I'm feeling like we just boil these up for enough time so they're pretty much cooked through, and then we finish them in a caramel.
What can I do, chef?
Chop that.
Slice or dice?
Very, very fine dice. So the potatoes are just going to parboil. I don't think we want to cook them all the way through. Maybe we'll give them 8 to 10 minutes, then we'll check them. So meatballs, I'm thinking we have pork mince. They might also be beef. They might be a mixture of the two. An Italian meatball might be. I don't know about a Danish meatball. Might be veal. We're going with pork, onion.
Why is this a bit important?
Like when you make potato rosti, you don't necessarily need all of the liquid in the potato. For a meatball, you don't particularly want all the liquid in the onion because we're going to add in milk as our liquid, so it is richer. And then it is bound with milky breadcrumbs. Here we're going to use oats. So think about the region, oats and rye and barley, common ingredients in Denmark. It's why rye bread is so popular. Garlic, sage, nutmeg, lots of it. We've been given an egg, and I'm not sure I typically would add egg into this.
Is there enough fat in that already?
Egg is good to bind very lean meats, but also here we've got the porridge oats and the milk. The proteins will stick as they cook, but we've been given it. Should we use it?
Are you sure it's pork?
Pork or veal? It's
no,
pork. It's pork.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's pork.
It
But
could be veal, couldn't it?
you could use veal. You could use a mix of pork and beef. But the point is, you kind of want to really work it quite hard. In fact, you could even put this into like a food processor and just beat it.
This might be a good time for hint number 2.
Yes, please.
I'm slightly scared to give this as a hint. Beat your meat.
That's literally what I just said.
He's beating his meat. He's fisting his meat, if anything.
Knuckling.
Knuckling his meat.
It seems odd to me to put flour into it because then you absolutely have to cook it all the way through to the temperature that flour cooks out to.
So you're thinking coating?
Maybe
that
a
to
little
protect
dusting of our hands to roll them.
Gotcha.
Maybe to colour them. If it goes all the way through the meatball, you've got to cook the flour out.
That makes sense,
Which means
okay.
you potentially overcook pork in my head, but I don't know the recipe.
So it feels like you're far more comfortable in this episode than maybe some of the other regions that we've explored so far in this series.
It literally is closer to home.
And compared to the other 3 countries we've done, we've been to this one. I have never made Danish meatballs called
Frikadelle.
but I have made Swedish meatballs, and they're very connected by a bridge. I've been across it. You end up in Sweden, and you can have very similar meatballs.
It's very easy to fly into Copenhagen Airport and accidentally find yourself
In Sweden,
isn't
yeah.
it?
I think it is a pan sauce you make around the meatballs once you've made the meatballs. So like a roux, and then the cream, and probably a lot of the extra flavours, maybe the nutmeg again.
Well, take the balls out first and then do it in the pan? Or?
Yeah, which is why, or around the balls, which is why I think possibly a floured ball will give you little gnarly bits that catch, that gives you a bit more flavour to your pan sauce.
Okay.
Is my thinking. So meatballs have been seasoned, salt, pepper, but also nutmeg, sage, garlic, and some very finely diced onion, and then beaten so that they become quite pappy in their consistency. Now with floured hands, I'm just rolling them into meatballs and we will fry them off. Flour, sort of zhuzh them around. Now they've got a crispy coating, they shouldn't break up too much. And then stock, bit at a time, to make a sauce around it.
Nice. So then reduce that down.
Cook out the flour, reduce down the stock, and then finish with cream.
What were you doing?
I was just going to make a sugar butter situation and we toss these in.
A sugar butter situation?
Yeah. A sugar butter situation to cook a potato in. Because don't forget, these aren't fully cooked, they're just parboiled.
Okay.
So they're going to need a good 10 minutes or so in the pan, constantly moving in what is basically sugar and butter. As opposed to take a caramel, pull it back with butter, and then add the potatoes.
Interesting.
Could be either way, but I think we'll end up in the same place.
Bring on the sugar butter situation.
Doesn't everyone love one? So as a comparison, waxy potatoes that we've parboiled and then peeled versus these, you can literally see the water, you can squeeze it. These are an absolute hack and a cheat.
Okay.
They're great for things like potato salad, they're great if you're making a quick tartiflette, they're great for a lot of things. My fear would be they're not the same texture as cooking a waxy one from scratch.
Or taste, and then nowhere near as tasty. Just to be clear, we're putting potatoes in caramel.
Yeah, quickly,
Okay.
but carefully.
Many things to remember.
Keep going.
But you say carefully, I don't know what to do.
Easily
No,
that.
that's not careful! It's looking really yummy, but I'm still confused.
I'm most confused by the fact that I feel like these need a good amount of cooking yet. Because we parboiled them and they were under, but that's going to need a good 10 minutes of cooking.
There's no pastry in this bit. So
Nope.
it's nothing like a tart tatin.
No, we just serve
Just
really rich, creamy meatballs with really sugary potatoes. Taste our meatball sauce, see what you think.
It's really rich, indulgent, a little bit drying, so I feel like I need a sharp tang, but there's no tangy things here to put in it.
Well, I
so
think,
tang.
again, typically what you would serve it with, we're serving it with these because we've been
point,
asked to.
good point.
But I think typically you'd get a really tangy berry-like
Yeah.
jam.
Like lingonberry.
A lingonberry
Yeah,
would be a Swedish
yeah.
alternative. But my understanding is this is just really rich and lovely.
Main course, tick. Dessert, question mark? Hint number 3, think takoyaki.
Yeah, so like in shopping malls, they have like lots of these, and they make little pancakes in them.
And then you flip them, they fall down.
Yeah.
Takoyaki being octopus balls in Japan, but this being a dough that you half fill and then the bottom sets and you flip them. I've seen it done with chopsticks with takoyaki. Something that's not going to scratch it, but the middle is still wet, so when you flip it, a bit like a waffle iron that you flip halfway through, it falls down to the other half.
Also, similar to mooncakes.
Make the batter, which is eggs and flour loosened with that, slightly sweetened, some raising agent, mix it all together.
Now there's a couple of ways of making this. The traditional way, as you would make American pancakes I suppose, is to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks, whisk them up separately so you get more air into them, which is going to help you in creating the spherical pancakes.
The other way is the raising agent you've given us. Right, do you want to go at this, Baz, or shall I?
I'll have a go.
You've got 7 holes to fill in quick succession. Just remember which order, because you'll have to flip them in that order.
How much can these rise?
Now, in theory, they will set around, begin to rise up, but still have a liquid centre, and then, and this will be the tricky part, having the confidence to know when to flip them. So that the top is a shell and set, and then the inside drips down and refills the second half. I think it's confidence, you've just got to commit.
Oh, that way, we're going that way. We change direction. No, we're going that way. No, I was less confident. Okay, right.
You got the idea?
You're missing one little bit of technique, which will help them go from being disc-shaped to being spherical shaped.
Okay.
So fill the holes about 3/4 of the way up with the batter. Then when they start to get firm on the bottom, Go into flip, but only flip it 90 degrees.
Oh.
By doing that, it lets the middle batter, which is still liquid, run out, and you're then left with a hole at the top. You fill that with a little bit of more batter.
I'm with you.
And then spin round again. That is also the time where you could put a filling in.
As a first attempt, not great, but now we think we've got the technique in mind. Lots of butter, less batter, and turning ever so slightly so you get a more spherical shape.
But also, now the pan is properly reheated and we understand what we're doing, pastry brush makes life easier, piping bag makes life easier.
Yeah. That's what it is now. Yeah. Just knock it over. Which feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're kind of spilling it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're talking, Ebbers.
Now we know what we're doing.
Got your eye in.
Look at these. It's one of those things, like anything and everything. You know, the first time you see the joy of a young child flipping their first pancake, it's never good. But there's a moment where there's like, we've achieved it.
Yep.
And then all they want to do is have another go.
Yep.
And get better and better. That's me right now.
Okay, boys. Well, this is what we were going for. So the fricadella, the brunet kartoffler.
Similar colour,
Yeah. They got smaller new potatoes.
Yeah, ours is sort of more elongated,
Yeah.
but
And then
shape of, and yeah, we did that.
nailed that.
Result,
Yeah.
spot on. I mean, obviously plating different, but in principle, pretty close.
Which of the trio of balls do we start off with?
Let's start with the meaty ones.
very sausage-like texture.
Very tender balls
Yeah.
in the sense that it kind of almost pasty
Yeah.
because of the oats and because of the beating. The flavour's good.
Lovely. I love the sauce.
Have you ever had caramelised potatoes?
No, but we've had things like sweet potato casserole,
Yeah.
which is covered in sugar, which then caramelises. And there are things like pork dishes in Vietnam that start with a caramel. So caramel in savoury food, I'm on board with. I've never had potatoes.
Cheers.
That is exactly what I expected.
Yeah, but it's also really good.
That is delicious.
Why don't we caramelise potatoes?
Do you know what? And I don't know if it's traditional, but heavy on black pepper at the end, and that savoury warmth of black pepper with sweet is kind of a nice marriage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my potatoes need that much sugar on them, but I kind of like it. But you know what's missing? Like, that's really sweet, that is really fatty and creamy. It's missing some kind of
Oh my goodness.
fermented cabbage, sauerkrauty. Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We've called it dessert, but I have seen them on breakfast buffets, and like we would have pancakes. I wonder what time of day these are enjoyed.
By pouring the batter in repeatedly, it becomes much denser. But with the batter being quite airy, it's still light.
Because they are light and pillowy, spongy,
Yeah.
almost more like a donut bread. If I'm honest, these I don't think were particularly new in either process or method. They taste incredible, but these two dishes, brand new to us on the channel, and again, that's what I love about doing these.
The danger with those is, you know how easily inspired we are as normals.
Don't
You
keep
want-
putting sugar in everything.
Well, let's spin the wheel and find out where's next then.
All right, ready?
Yep,
Spin the wheel.
here goes.
Where we go? Where we go?
All the E's.
England!
You're kidding me.
It's coming home. It's coming.
It didn't, did it?
No, I didn't.